Hey everyone, it's Brennan with BC Labs, and today we've had the privilege of getting a hold of a BoboVR M3. This is it's so hard to come by these that I actually got a retrofit kit for my M2 twin battery kit, but this has been retrofitted now to be the equivalent of an M3. It also gave us the opportunity to see the inner workings of what has changed and do a little comparison, and I'm working on getting that out to you as well. But basically, I was looking at just the comfort options as well as how the battery behaves with the M3 and the Quest 3 together. There's been a lot of talk about battery issues on the Quest 3 already. For now, though, the focus is more about comfort and balance and how this actually fits onto the Quest 3 and how it feels to be wearing it. Because that's something I had concerns about. Although I feel like, and again, I had this issue with the M2 and Quest 2 combination, it just feels like there's some sort of adjustment right here that I can't quite get right up in this joint. And it doesn't quite put pressure the way I expect. I think this is more of a me issue in getting it positioned correctly, because when I got it to sit right, it did feel a lot more comfortable, and it took a lot of the weight off of my face. But it did feel like it distributed it to the back and to the top, which is an improvement, but it also means, there will be pressure in other places. And I do like these pads better than the straps. So I have to be careful. Some of you have an M2 and some of you are new and never used one of these. This is called a halo style strap because it kind of sits around your head like a halo. And it was very popular with a lot of the headsets from Meta, and harkens back to some of the designs for other companies. But you kind of cradles the back of your head. And then you have the battery, which just adds a little bit of weight and kind of pushes down a bit, kind of cantilevers this weight of the front. But I will say the big holdback is the battery. I haven't tested it comprehensively. Like, I've only been able to use it in part, but I had this connected for, the better part of half an hour or so, and I already had been draining quite a bit, 1 or 2 bars off the battery, yet my Quest was down to about 90%. Now, the issue here is not how much these batteries drain, although that plays into it. The issue is that the Quest 3 draws such a high wattage, or has the potential for drawing such a high wattage, that these can't keep up. When I was doing some initial testing with my current meter for measuring over USB, I was only seeing, best case, 10 watts. Granted, it wasn't at the peak points in the battery curve where it's doing the fast charging. It was very close to full. So as you get closer to full, generally it changes the profile by which it's charging to avoid damaging the battery. And I know that's getting a little into the weeds for a head strap review. However, because this battery system is such a quintessential piece to the M3 and M2, and I guess to some extent the M1 ecosystem, it has to be mentioned. Especially because you're only getting 2 of these batteries, and by my calculations, and again, my calculations were back of the napkin based on undisclosed and estimated Quest battery capacities, you would actually need 3 of these to continuously rotate them because of the additional charge time versus the discharge time. Because I believe currently these take 3 hours to charge, and the headset can drain them in less than 2. And the headset has a habit of drawing and dropping by at least 10 to 15% while this is connected. Really, you're still pulling 1/3 of your wattage under full load, but 1/3 of your wattage from the headset battery itself. And that's based on the Quest potentially pulling 18 watts under extreme loads, while these can only put out, I believe, rated around 14 watts. And so that leaves 4 watts in the table for every, and then so at every hour point, that's 4 watt hours. These batteries, 24 watt hours. So if you're pulling your 14 watt hours, maximum, you're blowing through this in less than 2 hours. I mean, just a little shy of 2 hours, I should say. And so with that, though, the Quest itself is going to be losing about 4 watt hours of battery each charge of these that you deplete. So anyway, I really hope that this information was informative. I hate to be the bearer of bad news because I love VR's product here. I hope that they offer a B3 battery and that these terminals and such are sized appropriately. I guess depending on their current draw and their voltage, they may be sized properly. I'll have to dig into that at some point. If they are, that's excellent. All they'd have to do is change the battery. I hope that was helpful. We'll catch you next time.